Ciliann. Welcome to my art channel. In this video I'll be showing you how to paint a sunflower in oil color. Enjoy! Let's make a sunflower facing forward. So take your brush, a flat brush will work best to make the right size petals, and use some yellow, maybe mixed with a bit of green. Depending on how young your sunflower is, how green it should be or how yellow it should be. This is a younger one, so we added a little bit of green, touch of brown. And starting from the outside, moving towards the center, you'll make even strokes. Try to make them all around the same length, but if one's a bit shorter or longer, that's alright. And go around in a circle, pretty much evenly, and just make those yellow thick lines of your sunflower petals. And then taking some more brownish hue, but a light brown mixed with some green, you'll go around for the center. And if you look closely at a sunflower, the center really has many different colors. Also depending on the age of the sunflower, if it's a younger one, it will be lighter brown with some light green in the middle. If it's older, it will be darker brown. And the center is where all those little tiny sunflower seeds are hiding out. So there needs to be a lot of texture over there. So taking the brush with plenty of paint, go around starting from the outside, moving towards the center, gradually getting lighter as you go towards the center. Starting darker, a little bit darker brown at the edge, moving lighter brown in the middle, and coming towards the center, coming towards light green. And that should be somewhat gradual, so there should be light green mixed with the brown in between the center and the outside. You want that to be gradually going from green to darker brown, brownish orange around the edge. And to show each individual seed, we will touch tiny dots of paint all around. We'll use a light touch with our brush, not too heavy, so that we want the paint to stick up in little peaks. So you'll put paint on your brush and you'll get it to stick up in little peaks all around. And then taking a palette knife, go around starting from the center and make small arcing rainbow shapes, one after the next, from the center moving towards the outside, but one arc sort of inside the other. And afterwards, starting from the center, make circles, one around the next, around the next. So we have the center is the smallest circle, and the very outside is the largest circle, and there are many circles in between. And this will show a sort of swirl of crisscross marks. That is how the center of a sunflower looks, with all the seeds hanging out in there. And then you'll take some dark green, make your stem extending all the way from the center of the flower, as far down as you like, because sunflowers are tall flowers. They have long stems. And you can touch up the petals with a little bit brown, or for the darker parts, a little bit white for the lighter parts. You choose where the sun is coming from, where it's hitting off more strongly, and which parts are more in the shadow. So we'll just continue going around and adding those shaded parts to the petals and a little bit of texture to show those little lines on the petals as well. And we'll put around the very center, around the center part. The very edge is usually darker than and then the rest, and we'll add on those little dots of those seeds. Just touch it up with more specks of paint and little peaks going in the middle of each of those little crisscross marks that you made before. Each one gets a little dot that looks like a tiny little peak coming off of it. And of course you can give your sunflower leaves. And there you have it. Now we'll look at a sunflower facing sideways. Once again, we have a long stem. And at the top of the sunflower is rather heavy for such a long stem. So it is bent towards the center. And there are green leaves in a circle around underneath the flower. Some turned downwards and some turned upwards. And they are sort of encircling the yellow petals. So here we have the green petals, the green leaves going downwards and some turning upwards, and from here will come our yellow petals. This is the very center. Once again, I'm putting it in first, so I'll be able to make the yellow petals surrounding it. Here I'm focused less on the actual seed part, more focused on the shape of the flower and how the petals spread out from the base. So once again, taking the flat brush with some streaks of green, brown, and working from the outside towards the center. Make those curved petal lines going around. Now here you have to watch out that they should go facing the right direction. When you're on top, they go downwards. When you're on the side, then it gets a little tricky to put them in a way that it looks like they're at the side. So you make some splaying this way and some going that way, and in the end you have your sunflower, a little rumpled. But that's how flowers are. And you can touch up the center, make it look as though the petals are actually growing out from it, and not like they're just stuck on. Add some white for the lighter parts, and touch up the undersides with darker green. And you can add some brown in the center. And of course you can give it a leaf. Every flower wants its own. So here once again I show a sunflower from the front view. This time an older looking one, that the center is darker and the small individual seed packets are not so discernible. So the very center is dark brown, and coming out from there will be those petals. Here I tried going from the center out to see what kind of effect that would have. And it produced a more wild looking sunflower with more leaves than I really liked. So while I did like the color, I liked the bright yellow, and I liked how the brown mixed with the yellow petals as it came out from the center. I found that this method just gave too many petals, so I preferred the way of going from the outside in with a thicker brush. That way each petal is the right size to begin with, and there's no need to add more to it. And sunflowers do have a very large center. So I needed to add on more to make that wider. And those leaves are kind of folded over look. They hang down. So there are lots of ways to make sunflowers. Very pretty, cheerful flower. And you can try it out. Younger ones, older ones, ones with more petals, some with less petals.